Hello, welcome back to Memory and Engagement Opportunity for Wellness. My name is Michelle Hobb, and I'm a speech language pathologist and leader for the Meadowlark Special Programs. As I said, welcome back. It's been a while since we've been together. I was able to come back to campus and do some work there, doing both Zoom classes and face-to-face classes. And so during that time frame, we were able to take a little break and get rejuvenated for some more fun MEOW classes. What you're going to need today is paper or a journal, and a pen or pencil to do some writing. So I'll give you just a minute to get to that. So again, grab some paper or a journal and a pen or pencil. I feel like I need the Alex Trebek music for Jeopardy while you're going to get your supplies here. But I won't sing for you. That would not be good. All right, hopefully you had a chance to get that, or you're still gathering as we begin to look into the rest of this session. The purpose of this opportunity today is to engage and attend. So if you joined us in our previous sessions, you know that this is very important. What we know about memory is that without being able to attend to tasks, we're unable to get things into our immediate short-term, and then long-term memory. We also know that engaging is important. And during this time of COVID, it's been really challenging and tricky for all of us to make sure that we're engaging with others. And even though it's just a screen between us, it's still that opportunity to have some joint attention, and hopefully something that you can then take and visit with your friends and neighbors about, masked of course, after this session. We're also going to be doing some breath work. We'll do a little bit of reminiscing, and then we'll also work on learning and remembering some of the things that we're working on today. And of course, as you know, I love to smile and laugh, and so we can't go through our first session back without a little laughter. So let's begin with our breath work. The goal for breathing exercises is to help us to primarily work on focus, but it can also help us with calming our nerves or anxieties. It can also help with just refreshing our body, and getting it to a point where it feels relaxed and comfortable. Our brain does not know how to focus and attend and learn new things if we're in a high anxiety or stressful place. So the goal for this is to help us to really get our breathing in control and get our mind and our body into a very comfortable setting for working on some new learning today. So what I want you to do is first check your posture. So you want to be sitting up nice and tall, having your legs about hip width apart, and then you're going to just place your hands on the sides. Like I like to really do it this way. So it's almost like I'm squeezing my body here, where my fingers are wrapped around the front just below the rib cage, and then my thumbs are going back behind. What this allows me to do is it gives me extra feedback into whether or not I'm getting a good diaphragmatic breath. If my hands aren't feeling that breath in the lower belly, in that diaphragm area, then I know that I'm breathing up more shallow. Those types of breaths are not going to help us in calming and getting good focus. So again, take those hands. If it's hard or uncomfortable to do that with your hands, you can just put your hands in this direction, right again below your rib cage. Okay, so we're going to take in a deep breath through our nose, and then we're going to exhale through our mouth. Okay, so let's just do about 6 breaths together. So we're going to breathe in for 3 and exhale for 3. Here we go. So we're breathing in. Very good. I think I even gave you an extra breath work on that one. So hopefully you were able to really feel that good, refreshing, cleansing breath. And now we've cleared our mind and our lungs and we are ready to get to work. Our start point for today is a walk down memory lane. So this takes us right into that reminiscing part of our session. We're going to be talking about baking or cookies, and I'm not much of a baker, so I'm going to gear most of my things around to eating. But what is your favorite memory of either baking cookies or, in my case, eating cookies? Okay, so just take a second and think about this. And as you think about that, I want you to think about, where did this memory take place? Where were you when you think about either baking or eating cookies? What type of cookies were they? What ingredients were you using? And with whom were you with when you were doing this baking or eating of cookies? Okay, so just reminiscing, just thinking about it, just letting your mind think and feel all about where you were, what type of cookies, and with whom you were with. The next thing we're going to do as we walk down memory lane is to then think about the sensory components. Our memory works the best when we're able to incorporate those things of sensory. So for example, taste. What did they taste like? Were they sweet? Did they have a little hint of salt? How did they smell? Was it chocolatey? Did it smell like cake? How did they feel? Were they crunchy? Were they chewy? How did they look? Were they round? Were they perfect? Were they burnt? What were all of these things? And then the one thing that I didn't write on here, which I really should have, is what emotions did it bring? Obviously, if it's a favorite memory, it's going to spark some pleasant emotions. But in particular, what were some of those? Did it make you feel safe when you were baking or eating these cookies? Did you feel excited? Were you anxious and happy? What were those emotions that these experiences of baking / eating cookies that they created in you? So go ahead and jot these things down in your journal or on your paper that you grabbed earlier. And you can continue to do your story and your walk down memory lane after our class. I wanted to try a little something new with you guys now that we are starting back this time around. And that is to think about being creative. Whenever we're trying something new and we are doing something different, thinking differently, moving differently, whatever it is, we're creating new pathways in our brains. So I thought that this would be a fun opportunity to try some creative thinking. Again, I asked you to grab a paper and or a journal and a writing instrument. So I want you to just take a couple seconds here and on a clean piece of paper, or turn over your other one if you only have a single piece, I want you just to jot down some things that you see happening in this adorable picture here. So we're, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're talking about cookies today. And so I want you just to jot down, what do you see in this picture? And then after our session today, I'd love for you to create a story, to actually take some of the highlights that you see in this picture and create a story around it. So taking note, where do you think this is happening? What is the boy doing? What is the dog doing? Why are they doing what they're doing? What types of emotions do you think this child and this dog is experiencing? So take just a couple more seconds. Maybe even think about what time frame. When do you think this took place? In what era? How old do you think the boy is? All right. And I will put this picture in the Thursday Messenger and have maybe a couple more of those prompting questions. I would love it if you would write a little story and share it with us. Or maybe creating a poem might be something about this picture that would be fun to do. So, creative time, finding new ways to stimulate our brain. What we're going to work on next is looking at memory strategies for improving recall. Every one of us has difficulties at some point or another in remembering what we want to. So recalling things that we've either seen or been told or thought. How can we improve that ability? So the first thing that we want to talk about is attention. And I did mention that at the beginning of this as well, that we need to be able to focus and attend to tasks or activities or information in order to be able to remember and to move that information further into the processes of memory. What we're going to be working on today is descriptions. What I want you to do during this session is to describe the things that we see and use that description to help you remember the items that you see. So, using very descriptive words, just like I did in that description that we were talking about for our walk down memory lane. What is it? Taste, smell, feel, where, when, how, why, all of those descriptive types of things that will help cement information into our brain. Along with that, we're also going to be practicing the strategy of visualization. When we're using these types of words, these descriptive words, those words can really help to create a visual picture in our mind of what it is we're wanting to remember. So we're going to be incorporating and pairing description and visualization together. And then, of course, one of the best strategies for remembering is repetition. So we're going to look at things a couple of times, and then we're also going to just practice repeating in our minds over and over again. Okay, so these are the strategies we're implementing today in our activity. For training purposes, I want to use this picture here of gingerbread cookies. Okay, so description, visualization. Whenever you hear gingerbread cookies, I bet you have a picture in your mind of what that looks like. Maybe it's a gingerbread man, like what you see in this picture. Maybe it's a gingerbread house. Maybe it's just a round gingerbread cookie. So that's our visual description of it. Then what's the texture? Right? Is it crunchy? Is it chewy? Is it soft? What's the smell? How do you smell? What does the gingerbread smell like? Okay, what are the colors of the gingerbread? Describing these key terms and then visualizing it in your head. So we're going to take just a second to practice that. You can also write down these descriptions in your journal or on your piece of paper if you would like as well. Writing is another great memory strategy. All right, so now we're going to move on in. That was our practice one. Now we're going to move right on in and start doing some work. So here we have snowball cookies. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you some descriptions, but again, I want you to add your own descriptions. These are mine and these work for me, but you, in your experience, may have some different descriptions. So when I think of snowball cookies, I think of a more crunchy, a more airy type of a cookie. Obviously round and ball-like. And then, of course, for the snowball, white and all the powdered sugar making a big mess over everything. Okay, so I've got those words, and I try to cement them in my head through visualization to remember snowball cookies. You take a second and add some more. All right, let's go to our next one. Our next cookie is the peanut butter blossoms. So when I think of the peanut butter blossoms, I obviously think of the chocolate because that's my favorite thing. But I didn't used to think much about the appearance of them. I was too focused on looking at the chocolate Hershey Kiss. But this picture really helped me to see more of the name and how the name of this cookie derived from the actual appearance. So they just used a chocolate chip in this one. And so when I think of these, I prefer these to be much more soft, much more chewy, and then it does look kind of like a flower blossom. It looks like, the center of a flower. So thinking about this, and then I also think about the sugar that is on top as well. So take another minute and jot down what you think about when you think of these peanut butter blossoms. All right, now taking those words and looking at this picture, create that visualization, that visual picture of peanut butter blossoms. Okay, this is the Linzer cookie. So this one is one that is like a tart. Okay, so it's got 2 cookies and the jelly in the middle, and then it's got a beautiful design with some snow, obviously powdered sugar, sprinkled on top. Okay, so those are the descriptions I think of with this. Again, I'm not sure. I have only had these maybe a handful of times, and so I don't know. When I think of them, they're a little bit more crisp when they're fresh, but then the jelly tends to make them a little bit softer. So, but I don't know. Maybe your description of them would be much different than mine. I'm by no means a cookie connoisseur, by the way. So if I get a description wrong, remember, this is only my description and you add your own. So jot down a few words to help describe the Linzer cookie for you. And as you're doing that, create that visual picture. Okay, our next one is one of my favorites, the chocolate peppermint. Obviously, the name is pretty powerful for helping you remember this cookie. But then again, think about maybe the smell and the texture. What does the texture of this cookie feel like? How does it feel when you bite into it? What does it smell like when you bite into this cookie, or even just holding it up? So lots of dimensions about this chocolate peppermint, from smell to touch to sight to taste. Create that visual picture. Good, I hope you're doing okay. Let's go ahead actually and review what we've got so far. Okay, so our Linzer cookie, take a peek, double check your description and your visualization. Our peanut butter blossoms, and our snowball cookies. All right, so let's keep going. The next cookie is the caramel gingerbread cookie. So I wanted a different picture for this one, but I wasn't able to locate one that I really liked. So if you look closely, you can see the little tiny gingerbread sprinkles on top of this. But this one, I definitely can smell the ginger, but I also can smell the caramel and the cream cheese in this. And even if it doesn't have cream cheese, that's what I see that's what I see and smell and feel when I look at this picture. Um, so what is it to you? Describe it in your own brain and create that picture in your own brain. Very good. Let's keep moving on. This was one I had never seen before, but I thought it was quite fun. It's Buddy the Elf cookies. So if you've ever watched the movie Elf, then you know what this is about. This is supposed to look like a bunch of spaghetti, which are the lo mein noodles with chocolate dipped all over them. And then, so in Buddy, in the in the movie Elf, Buddy the elf loves syrup and on everything, or yeah, syrup, maple syrup. And so he pours it all over his spaghetti, and so that's what this is all about. He puts sugar and candy and marshmallows on everything he eats. So that's what this is. These are lo mein noodles with white chocolate, and then it's got other chocolate, marshmallows, sprinkles, all kinds of fun sugar for the elf. So take a second, create your picture, and think of your descriptions. Very good. All right, our next one are called Oreo Coal. So this one is made from Oreo cookies, and you create the Oreo cookies, mix them all up, and then I'm trying to remember now what it was. See, I'm teaching the memory class and I forgot what it is that it's made with. I believe it was just chocolate. And so you just mash the Oreo cookies that have been pureed basically, and then form them into balls and then dip them into the chocolate. There was a variation that said you could add add Oreo cookies on the outside as well, but I didn't think that looked quite as much like coal as this one did. So, knowing that it has Oreos and chocolate, what do you think the texture is? What do you think the primary flavor is? And create that visualization of coal to help you remember this one. Very good. All right, the next cookie that we have are cake mix cookies. So I think this one is a really good picture as well, trying to help us with our visual imaging, that this looks more like a cake texture on the inside. And then again, it's green and red, helping us think about being the holidays. So a cake mix, and also I think of the mix not only from the cake mix, but because it's got the red and the green mixed together. And obviously I would think of this being a more moist, a softer, more dense type of a cookie. What flavor do you think it might have? Again, your flavor description might be completely different than your neighbor's. Good, creating that picture, creating those descriptions. Very good. And our last ones are called Kringle Crinkles. I had never seen or heard of this Christmas cookie either. But I think that, again, when we're working on descriptions and visualizations, this is a no-brainer. It looks crinkly. It looks Christmassy. So we've got the red, we've got the green, we've got lots of cracks within it. And of course, we've got the white powdered sugar on top of it as well. So what do you think? Do you think it's more soft? Do you think it's more crunchy? What flavors do you think it has? I will tell you that the red, as you probably guessed, is red velvet cake. But then what other cake mix or cookie mix batter do you think that they used for the green? How do you think it smells? Very good. So creating that visual image and description in your mind. We're going to review these really quick. So again, we have our Kringle Crinkles. Love that name. The cake mix cookies. The Oreo Coal. Buddy the Elf. And our caramel gingerbread cookie. And I think we talked about the chocolate peppermint, but we're going to just go ahead and review that one more time. All right, so here we go. Now it's time to put our memory to the test. So you can obviously also use for this some of your long-term memory, and we always want to rely on that when we can. Anytime we can create maybe associations or commonalities that will help us to remember from a long-term memory anything new, then we go with that. Okay, so here we are. So we're going to be working on trying to figure out which of these cookies match our picture. So our first one here, what is this one? Okay, so this one is our peanut butter blossoms, right? And again, I remember that because it does look like it is a flower blossom, the middle of a flower. Okay, our next one, what is this one? All right, the Linzer cookies. So what did you use? What words did you use to describe that? And did they help you find the name on the left? Or did you even need the name on the left to help you? Were you able just to remember without? Okay, this one. Right, this one is J, our Oreo Coal. The Oreo cookies and chocolate. All right, how about this one? All right, yes, I'm sure you got this one, the chocolate peppermint. It's pretty descriptive with the picture. But again, that is something that's reinforcing our ability to use our vision to help us with recall. And the next one here on this page, what is it? And yes, again, using our visual memory to help recall this, we are going with snowballs. All right, let's continue on to the next one. All right, hopefully again, you were able to look at all of the crinkles here in this cookie and remember the Kringle Crinkles. Or maybe you remembered the red and green. Whatever it is that helped you remember Kringle Crinkles. All right, and this one. All right, so we've got our Buddy the Elf, his pile of spaghetti here with all of his marshmallows and sugar on top. What about this one? Correct, our caramel gingerbread. So again, thinking about that, maybe closing your eyes and trying to think about what that looks like without looking at the picture, and that smell, that flavor, that texture that you would feel if you were eating this cookie. The next one. Right, this one is our cake mix. So again, using our eyes, we're able to see that the texture looks more like a cake on this one. Even looking at the crumbles that are falling off of that one, we can think that that would be more like a cake mix cookie. And our last one. Yes, of course, that's the undeniable color and shape and shine of a gingerbread. So what I hope you learned from this is how to try to come up with some descriptions to help you with remembering. Okay, so now that you have all of these written down, what I'd like for you to do is to take that and try to describe these cookies to someone else and see if that someone else can figure out what type of cookie you're talking about. So what this is doing is helping us to use our memory, again, that visual memory, that descriptive memory, to then communicate effectively to someone else. So you can show them, your friend or your family member or whomever it is that you're going to do this task with, you can show them the list of all of these cookies, but then you can also try it without and just see if they can figure it out. So goal here, you're using your descriptive and visual memory, and you're also using your descriptive language in order to express something to someone else to get them to figure out what you're talking about. How many times have you tried to tell someone something and you couldn't get the word out? So what'd you do? Oftentimes we talk about it, right? We describe it. We circumlocute. We talk about it, describe it, trying to come up with the descriptions to get our point across to someone else. So that's another great exercise I'd like for you guys to try this week. Okay, so make sure you've got all of these down. Again, I will put these in the messenger so that you have reference to that as well. Okay, so as you know, we gotta laugh. Laughing is good for the soul, it's good for our breathing, and it's just great. So thinking about cooking, I wanted to share this funny video of this crazy, hilarious little 2-year-old who is baking cookies with his grandma. Every time I watch it, I do cringe. I know what he's going to do, and I can't stop laughing and cringing all at the same time. So I hope you enjoy this video.
All right. Let Nana undo it, and then you can throw it in. No eating the butter, though, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Good job, Kate. Kate, we have tons of butter. A cup of sugar, okay?
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
What is this?
Cream.
Sugar?
Sugar.
Okay, hold it over. Right. Wait, Kate. Jeez. All right, what's next? After the sugar. Oh, jeez. It has to be packed in there, so put it in. Don't eat the brown sugar. Oh my gosh, no. It's unbelievable. Stop it. My feet feel like they're stand on. We're making cookies. Crack and put it in. Oh, yeah. No, we don't eat. Oh my God, that's raw egg. Okay, ready? No eating eggs. Crack and put it in. Oh no. What? No, we're not eating flour. Kate. 2 cups.
Yes.
This Cooking with Kate is brought to you by Arm & Hammer. Can you say Arm & Hammer?
Cinnamon.
Pour it in.
Lucky.
Cinnamon.
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 Cinnamon. Cinnamon.
Okay? That's not good yet. 3. Oh! What are you doing?
I'm mixing.
You're mixing. Next, we put it on the pan and then we're gonna put it in the oven, okay? Good job, Kate. Good job. Okay. Let me see how much you got in your mouth. Oh my gosh, Kate. Show them what you got in your mouth. Very good, Kate. Cooking with Nana. Yay, cooking with Nana. We can turn it off for now and then turn it back on when we get a batch out of the oven. I never do that. Are you gonna eat them?
Yes.
You're gonna eat one?
Yes.
Oh. Oh. Oh, you're gonna take a bite of each. Oh, for Nana? Thank you. So delicious.
So, as I said, makes you cringe, makes you giggle, and makes you wonder if you ever want to eat cookies from anyone else that didn't make it yourself. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and it is pretty funny. All right. So, wrapping things up for this opportunity today, this learning opportunity, I want you to do something nice for your brain. Stay connected. Engagement, engagement, engagement. I know that it's so hard and so challenging these days to do much else besides stare at a screen and talk to someone or call someone on the telephone, but it's so important to take that effort and communicate with other people. So stay connected. Moving every day, multiple times a day. What's good for the heart is good for the brain. So move, move, move. Here's the new thing. Brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. We're talking about brain plasticity. Making new pathways in the brain is amazing. You're never too old to learn. You're never too young to be stuck in your ways. So, getting a toothbrush, brushing your teeth, even putting the toothpaste on, doing the whole 9 yards with your non-dominant hand. Try it out. You may have to the first couple days brush with your dominant hand to make sure that you get everything cleaned, but it'll be fun to watch how much better you get at brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand over the course of a week. I hope to hear how you enjoyed that and how you did. So thank you for joining me today on the memory and engagement opportunity for wellness. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one. Bye.